know, like to like have a break of all this stuffiness and just like put on like how Ellen does and just everyone just bust out.
Hey guys, Savage Joy here with Real Progressives, and as you can see, me and Tam are totally getting down. She's I had Tam on before, and she when I first talked to her on I was like, "Are you sure we haven't known each other for 20 years?" She's just that kind of person. So tonight I am joined again by Miss Tamborine Borrelli. She is running in the state of Washington, District 10, and their ballots, interestingly enough, are mail-in only. They don't have any polling places. So voting has actually already started. If you have anyone in the state of Washington, please invite them to this. Please share this with them. Tamborine is a former Bernie delegate, so she knows that that's already a piece of my heart right there. But she's a warrior. She's been an activist for years. This isn't like December 9th, or excuse me, November 9th, she comes out and now she's fighting. Like she's a warrior. She is actually running in the Independent Progressive Party, which is interesting because apparently in Washington State you can run like whatever.
Sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
Hold on. There's someone.
It's okay. I have a little Pomeranian. I get it.
Okay.
So, what made you decide to run?
Oh wow. Well, first I'll say that I never, in my, it sounds like such a cliche, in my wildest dreams, right? I never wanted to be a politician. Um, and for those of you that don't know me or have ever heard about me, I never even voted before 2016. So, running, much less even being involved in politics, was not a part of my reality. But after experiencing 2016, where I wholeheartedly, threw my whole mind, body, and soul into politics, because I saw a window that, that we could actually have a leader that, wasn't full of it, to say, just to be blunt about it. We all were disappointed what happened in 2016. And, after hiding away in a cave for 3 months out of depression, I realized that unless I stood up to be one of those representatives or leaders that I would have voted for in all of my adult life, then I had no right to sit out of the political spectrum. So, we have a crisis in this country, in answer really to your question, Joy. When half of Congress are millionaires, literally 50% of Congress, while only 1% of Americans are. So basically what that means is we have a Congress that's representing the interests of other millionaires and not the interests of everyday people. So that's probably the DNA of the reason why I'm running. And I know I'm not alone. There's many others like me across the country.
Absolutely. That seems to be the thing that just everything's connected to. You want Medicare for all, get money out of politics. You want to stop fracking, get money out of politics. It always seems to come back to that. Do you see, looking at the so-called Democratic Party, do you see that changing in there? Do you see in the future them finally saying, or is it just us new people coming in that's going to be set the precedent?
Well, you know what, Joy? It looks like that's the case. Here in Thurston County, progressives took it over after 2016. And, you know, for the past 2 years, it continues to be an all out battle between the old guard and progressives that have come in since Bernie. You know, let's just take the Democratic platform, for instance. The incumbent, the representative here in Congressional District 10, the independent running, is more in alignment with the platform of his own party than he is. So, you know, I think that's telling, and that in and of itself answers your question. I think that once money is involved and people are benefiting from it, you can't ask the fox to guard the hen house. You just can't do it. It would be silly to. So yeah, we've got to do it. Those of us who understand the corruption and are committed to changing the root of that corruption, it's going to come, and it's going to have to come from us.
Right on. Did you hear, I assume you heard about the 250 establishment Dems who met at a banquet dinner on Saturday?
No, believe me, I've been doing like 20 plus hour days.
That's true.
I barely get on, social media, but yeah, tell me, please, fill me in.
They actually, 250 establishment Dems met in Ohio for a banquet dinner on how to keep progressive out of office. Yeah.
Wow.
So Byrne actually sent out an email because it was blowing up, and Byrne sent out an email today, like, whoa, it's like, I think they're pretty much saying, I want Trump again. Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's like, we want Trump another 4 years because we don't care what you guys want. We're just going to install the queen again. And that worked out well.
Yeah, they continue to prove that they haven't the slightest clue, having their finger on the pulse of really what's going on with the people of this country. I mean, honestly, like the fact even that they had a banquet that clearly was not going to be a secret, and it's no secret anyway. We all know that's their agenda, because they stop at nothing to thwart any type of insurgent candidacy. So yeah, that's definitely no surprise here.
It's definitely not. And it's interesting though that there's still so many vote blue no matter who, despite despite that. You're very fortunate in your state because it is an open primary. So that's really advantageous.
Yeah, we really are very much a progressive state, especially when it comes down to elections. We just implemented, it hasn't implemented yet, but next year I believe we will implement same-day registration. And there's quite a few things about Washington that are progressive, the open primaries. Although, for instance, in my case, like Tim Canova, if it was the only thing that would, make me wish there was a closed primary, because just by running as an independent, he's guaranteed to the general. Whereas here, it's, anyone that is the top two, can go.
Right. That's an interesting point. And you guys are the only other state like California who has that so-called jungle primary, how it could be Dem against Dem or Republican against Republican, and it's top two. So what are the other people you're running against? What differentiates you from them?
Sure. So it wasn't until, I believe, just a few days before filing week that we knew who was running. There's a Republican and an independent centrist And they basically showed up on the scene right about then. There really was no social media footprint, no campaign presence, and no FEC report. Apparently, I'm told that the Republican is not necessarily being supported by the Republican Party. I've been told that his issues are narrow, and even those that would have voted, just because of the letter, now, we're in a different era where that's just not enough anymore. People are educating themselves and reading the voter pamphlet and going onto websites. And, it really is anybody's guess what's going to happen here on August 7th. I'm going to get my popcorn and I'll be watching right along everybody else.
Hell yeah, and I'll be texting you like, what the hell's going on? Give me an update. I get so nervous. Because I connect with so many of my guests, and then I'm like a mama or something. I'm just like, oh my God, how are you holding up? How are you holding up? And I get so nervous.
What is it? Like 2 weeks away? I don't even know the day anymore. I've just been like, all the days are melting into each other.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Phone banking, door knocking. I do see that we do have some people in Washington watching. Is there anything specifically you're looking for these next 2 weeks? Do you need phone bankers or what have you?
Well, let me just say right now, I have a new puppy. He's like 10 weeks old.
Aww.
And, I think that's probably all I have to say right now for anyone that's ever had a puppy. Anyway, so you might want to take them outside just because they've woken up from their nap and they're really being rambunctious. So yeah, Joy, basically anyone that can and is able, we have a few different avenues that we're getting help in. Text banking for those, even, with phone banking, sometimes, hold on, we're going to go outside. Go outside. Sometimes people get uncomfortable, talking to someone, or it kind of feels like telemarketing in a way. So we have text banking where, you have one message, you just copy and paste and change out the name to address the person that you're communicating to. And basically it's really just letting them know, giving them the information that, you have a choice this election and get the website. And so people can, just be informed of who's running. Of course, there's the voter pamphlet. And above that, we really are blessed that we have a commercial that has been aired for the past couple weeks now and will on into the day before or the day of the primary. We have bus ads that when we're out sign waving just today, the bus, it's such a cool feeling to be out there on the street, and then the bus goes by and there we are plastered on the bus.
That is awesome.
Yeah, we're getting the message out to the people, but we could always use more help. We could always use those that, can stand on the corner with us, that can make a phone call, that can knock a door, because it all matters. It all adds up.
It does. I was actually researching something today, and it turns out that in 1982, when Bernie was running for mayor, he won by 10 votes. So, if that doesn't make people it's like, I don't want to. No, please vote. Please, please vote. Because, it's, I did have a candidate on here who was also a Bernie delegate, Selena Vickers. She lost by 43 votes.
Oh
It
God.
sucks. I mean, it sucks. So, as you know, as progressives, we have the duty to promote these candidates, post these articles, these shows, whatever, and invite, message them to people who live in that state. It's a bare minimum we can do. But so you have, your platform is the traditional progressive platform, essentially. No money in politics, obviously. Was that from day one? Were you set that that was not going to happen?
Money in politics is the number one. It's the umbrella of all issues because until we can, um, you know, eliminate the avenue of legalized bribery, then any other issue will not get its, due course because that money is involved. Because there's that incentive to represent the interests of big pharma, of big oil, of Wall Street, of the military industrial complex, the prison industrial complex. We've got to remove that incentive. I don't know if I had ever told you this before, but Princeton did a study and they looked at decades old data of whatever the popular issue was of the time. And they weighed it juxtaposed to the legislation that actually passed in that time. And what they came up with, one line from their findings was particularly chilling because they said, quote unquote, we have found that the people